Hi, everyone. My name is Liam, and today I'll be presenting robust candidate generation for entity linking on social media texts. So first things first, what is entity linking? Well, entity linking consists of three separate steps. The first step, named entity recognition, finds mentions of things in a given text body. For example, Liam H is a great ML researcher, where Liam H would be a given mention. The second step is candidate generation, where we try to find out all the different things that Liam H could be in some pre-computed knowledge base, usually using a lookup table type approach. And then the last step is entity disambiguation, where we pick the correct one from the massive list that we generate. Now, this has many challenges when it comes to social media text. For example, finding the correct entity often requires context, which is not available on social media. Second, users can have very creative spelling, where misspellings are very common on this platform and not the clean text that we're used to. Third, lookup tables that do this kind of lookup approach have to be updated to account for all the different ways something can be misspelled in order to match in different aliases over time. And then lastly, with a lookup type approach, the performance of candidate generation very heavily relies on having very accurate spans. And so that motivated our study. First, we want to wonder, can we improve candidate generation in the presence of having noisy and not perfect NER? Can we scale entity linking without storing all the possible surface forms that something could refer to? Could we use context to guide candidate generation? And could this all be powered by embeddings? The answer to all these questions is yes, and that is zero-shot dense retrieval. And so our methodology consists of 5 separate steps. The first one, our knowledge base, is a July 2022 dump of Wikipedia of 6.5 million entities that we filtered to remove any unnecessary pages. We also use a lookup retrieval type baseline using an alias table from Wikidata aliases and labels. And then we use a dense retrieval approach using pre-trained Blink encoders, which encode the tweet text in this case, and the first 4 sentences of Wikipedia, and kind of matches them based on embedding similarity. We also explore a hybrid approach, which combines the candidates from both sets. And we train and evaluate all on the tweet nerd dataset, which consists of over 340,000 labeled tweets, which we evaluate on the academic and the out of distribution split. So first, looking at gold spans, we can kind of see here that dense and lookup kind of achieve the same performance using gold splits. Now, where this is very surprising is when we look at the hybrid results, which performs much better than just dense and lookup alone. This similar trend also happens in NER spans, where dense retrieval performs almost better in many cases due to the reliance of noisy NER spans, but hybrid definitely carries through better. And it's important to note here that lookup is using lookup essentially at infinity, because there's no explicit way to rank. We just retrieve all the possible candidates using lookup, so it's kind of the upper bound for that method. Now, to dive into why hybrid is performing so much better, we look at what are the unique candidates retrieved by both methods. Here we can see that dense and lookup retrieve very highly different unique candidates from the other method, kind of showing that both methods are very complementary. Now, what is the nature of why they're complementary? Well, for this, we do a bit of qualitative analysis. We try to find what are the examples that dense looks really well and lookup performs a little bit worse. So in this case, where there's a lot of context, is around, but still kind of ambiguous, is it's this tweet on the left. Here we can see the dense retrieval correctly found the correct musician, whereas lookup can retrieve anything containing the word amber, such as Amber Alert and Amber Telescope, but still missing the correct entity. But looking at the description of the entity from Wikipedia, we can see there's a reference to the other entities that are mentioned in the tweet, allowing dense retrieval to find the correct thing. However, this is also a double-edged sword. If there's not a lot of context, we can also see that lookup can retrieve the correct thing by looking at the exact spelling, 12 rounds, versus dense can kind of be misled and look at the literal 12 rounds and look at, say, shotguns with 12 gauges and things like that. Another advantage of dense, though, is when it comes to spelling. So lookup, if the things are kind of misspelled, it can really find nothing at all. Whereas dense retrieval was able to find the correct thing, but also related entities that were also, for example, in this case, other Bollywood movies similar to the one referenced in the tweet. So what did we learn from the study? First, dense retrieval is really good at finding entities that require extensive context. And without that context, it would be impossible to find. We can also find related entities. Dense retrieval can also scale very easily to other entities without needing scaling. Just feed it more descriptions, and it can scale and perform just as well. As well, we also found that NER impacts lookup a lot more than dense retrieval, where dense retrieval is able to kind of retrieve some performance that is lost. So they're very highly dependent on context with dense, which is kind of a good and bad thing. And hybrid overall kind of combines the best of both worlds and kind of performs a more performance solution in the end. So if you have any questions, please feel free to read our paper, as well as reach out to any of the authors mentioned. Thank you for your time.